The McShin Foundation is Virginia's leading peer-to-peer recovery community organization. So if you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, let us get you connected. Build your self-esteem and lead you to a solid foundation in your recovery. Check us out.
My next speaker, I heard this guy sharing not too long ago, I got to thinking. You know, I've been on a rampage lately about, well, a whole lot. You know, Marshall touched on it earlier. I think one of the most racially inactive laws in America today is the marijuana law. If you go home tonight, Google where the laws came from, where were they originated from, you'll see they are 100% racially enacted, motivated, and to this day exist to be the case. And as a nation, we let this one slide. And I don't think we should let it slide anymore. That's the law we can fix. And next speaker, Mo, I'm sure he will touch on that.
Yes, I will.
Warm welcome for Mo.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Morris, and I'm a recovering addict. Within 5 days, after about 17 years, give or take, in and out of recovery, I'll be approaching 9 months, which is the longest amount of time I've been clean since I started using, which is about 31 years ago. You know, when John asked me to do this, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I mean, I'm like, why is he asking me? I had no idea. And after I've listened to everybody that's spoken before me, I really appreciate it. And now I've definitely come to the conclusion that I still have no idea why I'm here. But no, on a serious note, though, I do know. I mean, this is Black History Month. I am an African American. I am in recovery. And right now, things are going well for me. Real briefly, my story, I started, the very first time I smoked crack cocaine was in March of 1987. That was about my second year of college. I was attending Hampton University. Before that, you know, I grew up, my household, I lived with upper middle class parents. Both my parents are educators. I did fairly well in school without studying. School was pretty easy to me all through high school. There was no abuse, no other drug use, none of that. It was the choices that I made. I decided to go that route. I smoked crack in 1987, and I love it. And that was about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I love it. You got me in there, and proceed a little further on, and about 1994 through, you know, working, school, and all of these things, I ended up committing credit card fraud, and I got sentenced to 20 years in the Virginia Department of Corrections. And I got sentenced to 20 years with 18 years suspended. I served 2 years, 1995 and 1997. When I got out in 1997, I was put on indefinite probation. This was my first felony, and I got sentenced to 20 years. So at that point, I decided, you know, I still wanted to use drugs. I was too scared to commit any more crimes. But the crime that I did commit, which was something illegal in Virginia, and at that time, pretty much everywhere, was smoking weed and smoking crack. So I proceeded. In 2001, I was violated. In 2003, I was violated. In 2005, I violated. All of these were technical violations. No other crimes were committed except the violation from probation. 2008, when I was violated, and all those times, 01, 03, and 05, they just kicked me back. I sit in jail for a month. I go to court. They say, well, you're getting high, you're a drug addict. You haven't committed more crimes, we're just going to kick you back. In 2008, I went to court a different rotation of the judge, and they went ahead and the judge told me, since you have all this time in your head and you want to continue smoking and getting high, I'm going to go ahead and give you 5 years. In 2008, I went to prison for 5 years for smoking marijuana. That's what I took a I had a positive urine screen for marijuana, and I served 5 years. Well, I actually served 4 in the Virginia Department of Corrections for 4 years. Well, I got out from there, and by that time, all this time, I wasn't thinking I was an addict. So I had to really stop and think. Maybe because you smoke weed and you catch a consequence of going to prison, maybe you are an addict. So from now on, various ups and downs, I always work. That was one thing what kept me out a lot of times. I always work 60, 70 hours a week. I cook for a living. That's what I do now. I've been cooking for over 30 years. But the thing is, in 2012, that was the end of my sentence. I came through the RISE program. I was one of the first people in a reentry program designed for people coming from DOC, coming back into society. And I had to go out to East in New Kent, and I came back up here. The third phase at that time was work release. I came up here to West, in Rico West, went through work release, got out, and pretty much within a couple weeks I was, drinking, smoking, partying again. That's what I did. I like to party. I have fun. Now I know that was just a waste of my time. So from 2012 to I want to say maybe 2014, I kind of dabbled around. Went to Oxford House for a while. I didn't do too bad. I was more abstinent. I wasn't in recovery. It's a big difference for me. And I've learned that through my predecessors and a lot of people way smarter than me. I stayed clean, but I didn't put in any work. Just like I was saying when I was in high school, I didn't study for anything really. Honestly, I really didn't. I was pretty, I was pretty sharp in high school. But I didn't study. I could have been so much more. And I found that this recovery thing, you have to put in work. And after all of these different attempts, I'm finding now that these past 9 months are the greatest 9 months of my life at the age of 51 years old right now, because I decided to put in the work. All of the different pathways I chose, I went through the RISE program, I did Oxford House, I just trying to stay active and all of that. None of that really worked. And what I found that works for me right now is a 12-step program of recovery. And that's what I do. Within that program, I have a lot of work to do. I have a great sponsor. I have an awesome network of people that support me. Quite a few of them are here today. And thank y'all for coming out. I won't say any names. Don't want to break any names. But I will say that this program has taught me that the work that I put in today will further my life. And that's what I feel recovery has done for me today. It has gave me an opportunity to really, really experience and enjoy my life. I'm not just existing on this planet anymore. But that's what happens for a long time. You get high, you get caught up in the cycle. And, when I went to prison for those 5 years for smoking weed, I had a big, big issue with the system, the man. I wanted to blame it on the man. But the man that actually caused all of those problems is this one right here. You look at my skin on the outside, I'm black, it's African American, Black History Month. But in recovery, one thing I've learned that recovery is not racist at all. Recovery does not care about this. Recovery really attacks here. It attacks my thinking, my actions, every aspect of my life. The work that has to be done for me as an African American and for everybody that's in recovery is the work that's done on the inside. So changing my thinking, my actions, my thoughts. And all of these things combined help me to become the person that I've always been meant to be. And recovery is something that I really love, and I really appreciate this opportunity. And I just want to thank y'all for listening.